banned for using this in Battlefield 5. That's the topic of today's video, but what does it mean? Well, over the last few days, there's been some discussion in the Battlefield community about people using a program on PC to change the way that the graphics in BF5 look, just like this. I'm not going to show you how to do this or say what the program is called, but I thought that I should bring it to your attention because now people are being supposedly permanently banned for doing this. And you should know that if you're using this, there's a possibility that you could be banned. Also, it's just a really interesting talking point and it raises a lot of difficult problems to solve. So why do people do this? Clearly the main reason is for better visibility. The game looks like a cel-shaded cartoon this way. It's very clean, player models stand out incredibly well and contrast with most of the environment. There are no leaves on the trees, particle effects are diminished, grass practically isn't there. Using this gives you a clear visibility advantage over someone who isn't, simply put. We all know that visibility in Battlefield 5 on certain maps and areas is bad. Soldiers wearing dark clothing, stood or lying prone next to dark areas, smoke effects and lighting can also affect this too. Since beta, DICE improved this a little bit by adding a fake glow or backlight, let's say, to the player models, but perhaps they haven't gone far enough with it and it needs more work. And this problem, some players call it a problem, other people like it, was not apparent in previous Battlefield games that had a more liberal spotting system. In BF1, for example, enemies near you were highlighted in red almost, and 3D spotting was possible with the press of one button. In BF5, not the case. You've got to be more aware of your surroundings, and often if a player is not moving in a dark area or lying prone in rubble, you simply won't notice them as you're running past. As I said, lighting, smoke, particle effects can affect this too. Again, some people like this, some don't. So to fix, in inverted commas, this problem, some users have deemed it necessary to use this trick to make the game look like this. And you know what? It works well. Visibility, no doubt, is way better here. It looks like Minecraft, but at least you can see. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, I've only seen this working on Nvidia graphics cards, but I bet that it was possible too on AMD. I will say though that you don't technically need this extra software to do this. You could manually edit the Nvidia drivers with the correct information in a text file to achieve the same effect. The software just makes it easier and does all of the hard work for you if you don't know what you're doing, which is most people. Is this cheating? Is the question that I would ask you. Is this an exploit to gain an advantage on an opponent, or is it not cheating and is it simply the same as someone using a config file or turning the graphics down? Now, people are going to have wildly different opinions and stances on this depending on your PC gaming history, your morals, the competition inside of you, your view on fairness in online games or cheating. What did DICE say about this then? Well, they haven't officially made a statement about this, I suppose outside of the terms of service, which reads like that this is cheating. Maybe that's enough for them. But I did find a reply on Reddit from Merson316, who is a producer at DICE, and they said here that using it to abuse LOD bias can land you in trouble. We're investigating potential fixes. LOD bias is level of detail, so abusing that here means editing the way that models, props and characters look in the game so they lose information and become less complex. For example, the leaves on the trees, the bushes, the grass, etc. So if I were just playing the game normally, I might see a large bush or tree and think, hey, I can hide in here, people can't see me, I'm safe in cover. But if someone were using this program and they had the correct settings on their screen, there wouldn't be a bush there and you'd just be in plain sight in the open. And when you put it like that, it's easy to see how this can be construed as cheating. And to see that come from a producer at DICE, it seems like DICE see this as cheating too. Perhaps it would be in their best interest to be clearer about this though and take a stance on it before it gets too messy. That's what I'd do. Who's been banned then? Well, I won't say names or show the clips, but a couple of players were streaming the game using these settings. Their game looked like this does now. There's clips of them playing like this, and then they get banned while still broadcasting. I don't know if these particular players were using any other cheats like aim assists or macros. I don't think anyone knows for sure, but most of the community are assuming that they were banned because of this graphics tweak. That's the evidence that they have. The question is, if they were banned for using this software and dramatically changing the way the game looks so they get better visibility, and can see things that others can't, was this automatically detected by the anti-cheat software in BF5? Or was this a manual ban and they only caught it because someone from DICE or EA was watching their stream and decided to bring down the hammer? And the reason I say this is that technically this program doesn't hook into the game like a usual cheat does. My understanding of it is that it's just a broad brushstroke that changes parts of your graphics drivers, which in turn makes your game look like this. So could this actually be detected by BF5's anti-cheat software? I'm not sure. A lot of people think that BF5 just uses Fairfight as an anti-cheat to analyze statistics and make data assumptions that you're a cheater. But I know for a fact that it uses other anti-cheat software that DICE don't talk about to protect it, which is fair enough. So it begs the question, if these people weren't streaming at the time of using this software, would they not be banned now? And do DICE have the capacity to detect people using this in their games? Well, Merson suggests that they're working on it, which is great to hear. Now people may say, hang on, isn't this just the same as playing on low graphics settings on PC to get better visibility? I don't think it is, and I'll tell you why. The context and the intent is very important here, and you simply can't ignore it. Lower graphics settings are put in these games by the developers primarily to allow people with older spec PCs to run the game better and achieve higher frames per second. That's their goal. Do they achieve that goal? Yes. An offshoot of that is that in some games, lower settings will give you better visibility. That's a fact, and BF5 is one of those games. If I play with lower graphics settings, people stand out a bit more, the game isn't so blurry, certain particle effects aren't as prominent, and most PC gamers know this. For all multiplayer games, it's common knowledge. And they know that if they want to play super try hard and play as good as they can, and they'll feel like they're improving, and if I put all my settings on low, that will help me. Some PC gamers just don't care about the graphics and they'd rather run on lower settings for better visibility and performance in an attempt to play better. PC gaming has always been that way. I do it. I play in BF5 on lower settings, I play PUBG on lower settings, and it does help with being able to see people. And of course, you get the benefit of the game running better. The difference with this though is that playing on low graphics settings is an option for everyone that's already in the game. It's part of the package. DICE put those settings in there and kept them measured and restricted up to a point for a reason. They have limits, but what this program does is stretch the game beyond those limitations and it breaks them, in turn allowing you to remove a ton of detail, models and textures, and it leaves you with graphics that are way different from the parameters set by DICE and quite clearly give you a massive visibility advantage over anyone who isn't using the same thing. That's the difference, and I feel like that's why this is an exploit, and I hope that DICE can fix it. In an ideal world, of course, in a competitive multiplayer game, everyone would be forced to play on the same graphic settings, but that's just never going to happen as PC specs vary wildly and developers can't just cater to those with money and powerful PCs. Moving on, are the bans being handed out for using these graphics tweaks justified? Should people using this be banned? Well, in the EA terms of service for their games in section 6, there's 3 lines where I think this could be applied, and the language is a bit open to interpretation, let's say, and that's definitely on purpose to give EA and DICE some flexibility. Use exploits, cheats, undocumented features, design errors or problems in an EA service. I'd say that these graphic settings are an undocumented feature. Use or distribute unauthorized software programs or tools such as auto software programs, macro software programs, cheat utility software programs or applications, exploits, cheats or any other game hacking, altering or cheating software or tool. So yes, I feel like exploits and altering software could apply here. And finally, this one, engage in any other activity that significantly disturbs the peaceful, fair and respectful gaming environment of an EA service. So within the parameters of the game, you could argue that using these graphic settings that are not present in the game by default disturbs a fair gaming environment and gives you an advantage. So according to the EA terms of service, I'd say that there's a good argument that this is a bannable offence. Could EA and DICE be clearer on this particular issue though? Yes, they could. And when problems like this arise, a bit more specificity wouldn't be a bad thing. Also, I have to say that recently I've seen a lot more blatant, obvious spin botter cheaters in PC servers of BF5, and something needs to be done about them because they're ruining the games. So hopefully DICE can really step up their anti-cheat efforts and sort this out because it's not enjoyable. And you can help too. If you've got an obvious spin botter in your server just stood in one spot shooting everyone through walls, then you can report them easy. The more people that do it, the more likely they're going to be banned. Wrapping things up for today, guys, I just wanted to let you guys know about this. If you're playing on PC and you're using it, your account could be banned. We've seen this happen to a few people now, so if you're on the fence about using this, perhaps it's best not to, in the interest of keeping your account safe. And that's all for today, guys. Do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, do consider leaving a like and perhaps sharing it for visibility, pun intended. If you didn't like it, dislike it, subscribe for more, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.